Hey everyone, Erick Landon here and I'm back. I get this question a lot, especially by the people who know me. I have been playing JRPGs for like 20 years or something, and of course, like many of you, I grew up with the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. I grew up with Mario. I love Mario World. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat. So the question is, do I play other games that are not JRPGs? Now, I already answered that I used to play all types of video games. But the question remains as if nowadays I still play other things that are not JRPGs. Of course I do. Actually, I have a few favorites here, right here with me that I'm about to show you. And the answer is basically yes, I do play other genres of video games. I'm gonna start with the very few genres that I don't like, which are first-person shooters. I can't stand playing those games. I know there are a huge variety of great first-person games, whether they are shooters or not. I just don't like them. The camera makes me dizzy. I have made several attempts during my whole gaming life, and still nowadays I can't stand those games. And I don't know, pinball games, sports games, I don't really like those games. But this video is not to explain why I dislike those games. This video is to tell you that I do play other kinds of video games. So I'm gonna show you right now the ones that are not JRPGs but I still love. And you could say that my favorite video game that is not a JRPG and that I freaking love with a passion, my number one is Haunting Ground. I love the survival horror genre. I used to be a fan of this genre around 10 years ago, but I gave up a few years ago because all the modern survival horror genres really disappointed me. I grew up with the first Resident Evils for the PlayStation 1. I am a big fan of them. I grew up with the first Silent Hill, and I grew up with the first Clock Towers, and I like those games. And I grew up actually with Haunting Ground. And Haunting Ground is a game in which you are a girl who suddenly appears to be encaged in a gigantic castle dungeon and your only friend, your only ally to make it out of the dungeon, this gigantic place, is a dog. And similar to Clock Towers, you have an enemy chasing you over and over again. And it's a pretty fun game. I really recommend it. Unfortunately, it's one of the most expensive PS2 games of all time. So if you can get your hands on this game in any way whatsoever, good for you, play it because it's extremely wonderful. Another game that I really love, it's a game that looks like a JRPG, but it's not a JRPG. It's a tower defense, a real-time strategy game, and it's called Grim Grimoire. This is the very first game that Vanillaware made. Vanillaware made Odin Sphere. They also made Dragon's Crown, which I recently reviewed, and several other games. But Grim Grimoire was the very first game that they made, and it's not a JRPG. Like I said, it's a tower defense and it's a real-time strategy game. So it's really cool. This is a very, very great game, a very addicting game, and I strongly recommend it to anyone. Whether you're a fan of Vanillaware or not, this is a game you must play. Next, a very, very popular game. That's Alice Madness Returns. I haven't played the first one. I'm told this is the second one in the series, and I think next year is gonna be a new one. This is a very cool platformer. This is my favorite platformer of all time. Yeah, like I said, I am a fan of Super Mario World. I think that will be my favorite second platformer. But the first one is the particular game that I have here. And Alice Madness Returns, you know, I love all this dark, gore, bloody, gothic stuff. I'm into that, so when I played this game I was really astonished, for so to say, and I really enjoyed it. The gameplay is with a sort of like a hack and slash battle system, and it's really good, it's really addicting, it's a challenging game, it's not that easy, and I really recommend it. Other games, these two are based in the RPG franchise, which are the Shin Megami Tensei, but these ones are a spin-off of a series of the Shin Megami Tensei. Are you familiar with these ones? Come on, these are Persona games. There are characters from Persona 3 and 4. I really love these games. I am into fighting games. I have a lot of I have played a lot. I love Marvel vs. Capcom games. I like the King of Fighters. I like Guilty Gear. I like Blast Blue. So I am into fighting games, not as much as I am into JRPGs, but I really am into fighting games and I really recommend them. Next is Deception 4 Blood Ties by Tecmo. I have no idea of this series. I am technically new to this series because I first heard about this game a few months ago, and I played it and I beat it and I fell in love with it. And this is not, it looks like a JRPG as well, but it's not. It's not a visual novel either. This is what you might call a multi-genre game, but if you want to log this game into just one particular genre, this is another tower defense. You're basically a bunch of demon girls who are trying to defend certain places where they move. They're trying to revive their father, who's supposed to be the overlord or something like that. And the protagonist is a half demon, and you play as her, and you go around setting traps for your enemies. So it's sort of like an action real-time strategy, but this to me is a tower defense because you're defending a place from the multiple hordes of enemies that come after you, and you gotta set up traps. Anyway, so these are the games that are not JRPGs that I own. I love them. And for example, others that I really fell in love with and I am addicted to them, one of them is Little Nightmares for the Xbox One and the PS4. Little Nightmares is extremely good. I am a fan of the environmental puzzle games. I love Limbo, and I love this hidden gem for the PS4 called Lubo, which is a very, very wonderful game. But my favorite so far from that genre has been Little Nightmares. I freaking love that game. You're this little girl and you don't know where you are. I mean, you don't know anything about this game. The more you advance in this game, the more you start realizing what the story is about. And you're this little girl that you technically need to escape this bizarre, astonishingly, outrageously strange ship or house, or you have no idea where you are and you're trying to escape. It's a very good game. I strongly recommend that game. And what other games are there that are not JRPGs that I love? All the retro stuff, come on, all the Super Nintendo. I love a lot of Super Nintendo games. My favorite NES game is a hidden gem called Xexis. It's a wonderful game. It's a platformer combined with a shoot 'em up to the right, horizontal shoot 'em up, and that's my favorite NES game actually. But yeah, you know, my favorite genre of all time is JRPGs. I mostly collect JRPGs. I barely collect games like this. And there are a lot of video games that I love that are not JRPGs. So I'm open-minded to all kinds of video games. I love video games. I love gaming. And last but not least, you might hate me for this. You might say, seriously? But yeah, I am a big fan of Plants vs. Zombies, the first one. I have never played the Garden Warfare ones because those are like a comedy style Call of Duty games in third person. I have no idea. I'm not into those games, but the very first Plant vs. Zombies and the second one, I am a huge fan of those two games, especially the first one. I used to own the Nintendo DS version, and it's another tower defense. Now you have realized that I'm a fan of tower defense games. But anyway, I love Plants vs. Zombies. I don't care what you say. If you say it's a stupid game or a terrible game, I admit it. But it's still great, it's very addicting, and I freaking love it. Another game that I play oftenly is Worms, especially the PSP version. I used to play a lot the PC version called Armageddon. But Worms, I am a fan of Worms. I love the PSP version, like I said, that's another wonderful game. And I could go on and on with this video telling what kinds of games I love that are not JRPGs, but I think that's enough. So you get the idea, and to answer that question that everyone's been asking about, fans, subscribers, even closest friends, yes, I do play other kinds of video games that are not JRPGs. So, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your friends, and see you next time.